Hey y'all, welcome back. Before I get to the topic for today, let me just mention two things. There is a giveaway going on. That giveaway will be ending tonight about midnight. This is on Saturday, the 12th of December. You can check that out by seeing the video below that says giveaway 1,000 subscribers. That's the video that'll tell you about it. All you have to do is subscribe to our channel and make a comment on one of these last few videos since we mentioned the giveaway, as well as the latest Nanox video or the presentation on Lion Electric or the presentation on VGAC. The second thing I need to tell you that I left out of the video is that the fund that I'm going to be talking to you about today charges a fee of 2.5%. Please keep that in mind as you're listening to my presentation. All funds charge a fee. 2.5% is kind of hefty if you're a Vanguard investor, but it is less than a lot of funds out there. Keep that in mind. It's making a lot of money, and 2.5% may be worth it to you. Hello again. Hey, today we're going to try something a little different. I'm going to present to you something that might not be well known and may be a little more risky than some of the things that we've talked about. But for the sake of diversity and for the sake of understanding the total market out there, today we're going to talk about something called Bitwise. BITW is the ticker symbol. Now, based on the name, starting with bit, you may be realizing that this is going to be talking about crypto assets, not cryptocurrency. That's sort of an antiquated term, but crypto assets. These are now being viewed as an asset class, similar to gold or stocks or bonds. Now, if you're like me, you notice that the cost of Bitcoin is outrageous at almost $19,000. It's a little bit difficult to get invested in that. Other cryptocurrencies like Ethereum certainly are less expensive, but still pretty expensive for the average person. This is where Bitwise comes in. Bitwise was founded in 2017 by Bitwise Asset Management, and it pioneered really the first cryptocurrency index fund. They're based out of San Francisco. They have a team with decades of asset management experience coming from multiple different entities. And the firm's advisors and backers have experience as investors, executives, and board directors in multiple companies such as PayPal, BlackRock, Square, Coinbase, Stripe, etc. So let's just talk a little bit about BITW, the thing that the average investor can now invest in as of December 9th. You can see here it's called the Bitwise 10 Crypto Index Fund, and that's just what it is. It's an index fund that tracks the 10 largest cryptocurrencies as an index. So the fund seeks to hold the 10 most highly valued cryptocurrencies, screened and monitored for certain risks, and weighted by market capitalization, rebalanced monthly. What does that mean? Well, you can see here on the right what the top 10 constituents were as of November 30th. Unsurprisingly, Bitcoin leads the way at almost 75%, followed by Ethereum and Ripple, with then 7 others making up just a minuscule amount of the remaining index. This index, as I stated, is based on market cap. It's market cap weighted, meaning that it's based upon the capitalization of each asset, and that's why Bitcoin holds such a large percentage within this index. It's similar to the way that the Dow Jones Industrial Average is weighted. Now let's just talk a little bit about the way that this index fund has been created. Originally, it was only offered to accredited investors. If you're not familiar with that term, basically you have to have either $1 million worth in assets, and that does not include the value of your house, or you have to make above $200,000 a year if you are a single person, or $300,000 a year if you're married. So you can see that when this fund was first created, it really was not accessible to most of the general public. However, after 12 months, those shares purchased by accredited investors can become available on the broader market. Now, the particular market that these are sold on is called the over-the-counter market, OTC. OTC markets are such that the negotiations are done between brokers and dealers directly rather than through a stock exchange. There are several levels of OTC markets. The highest quality one is the OTCQX. That one has more stringent requirements that companies have to meet in order to trade at that level, and that is the level that BITW trades on. What's important then to understand about this is that it is not governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Rather, it is FINRA that regulates the over-the-counter markets. Some more things about BITW. You'll notice here that there are 2 different prices listed. One shows the market price, $38.48, and the other shows the intraday NAV 1684. What is the difference between those things? Well, as I mentioned earlier, the accredited investors, and to purchase as an accredited investor in this fund, there is a minimum of $25,000, and any future purchases, there's a minimum of $10,000. Anyway, to purchase in this fund, you would then give the a minimum of $25,000 and hold on to it for a year. That is a requirement. You have to hold your purchase of that fund, not talking about BITW, but the accredited investor version, for a year. The price of that is $16.84. However, once that year is up, should you choose to sell your shares on the market, you can see that those are going for $38.48. That is quite a difference. That is just the price if you want to be able to buy just a small portion of crypto assets. I've clicked here on how do you buy BITW, and it tells you there you can trade BITW shares in many brokerages, including Pershing, Charles Schwab, E-Trade, Fidelity, TD Ameritrade. Simply type the ticker BITW, or you can type in CUSIP and that string of numbers there into your brokerage account. Now, what's the advantage to purchasing an index fund rather than just purchasing the crypto assets themselves individually? Well, you can see here a chart. This is from 2017, but it gives you the idea of how this goes. You can see here a chart of the top returns for crypto assets based on month from March 17 to February of 2018. You can see that just looking at the colors, they're sort of all over the map. At one point, Ripple was leading the way in March of 2017. Skip ahead to July 2016, and it's down 36%. And then skip ahead to December 2017, and it's up 818%. That's a bit of a wild ride, and you can see that that's kind of happening for all of these cryptocurrencies. They're just all over. Bitcoin, March of 2017, it was down 9%, and then you skip ahead to July of 2017, it's up 15%. And then December 2017 was a great month for cryptocurrencies, with Ripple leading the way at 818%. Bitcoin was doing 38%, which normally would be fantastic, but compared to others is a bit low. That's the advantage to owning an index. You can see that it levels out the variability just a bit. Now, that is not to say that crypto assets will not be volatile even in an index fund. This gives you a picture of how this index fund has looked over the past couple of years, and you can see the volatility there. Look at how rapidly those undulations can take place. You can even see some of the volatility in these individual shares that you can purchase on the over-the-counter exchange. Now, these didn't become available for public purchase really until December 9th, but taking a quick look, you can see on December 4th, $17.20. A few days later, it's taken a dip down to $16.87 and then takes a wild swing up to almost $40 a share. Now, why might you choose to invest in crypto assets? As I mentioned earlier, these really are being considered an asset class, similar to gold and bonds and stocks. It's been around for about 10 years, cryptocurrencies have, and financial companies are now setting up ways to perform financial transactions using Bitcoin. You may have seen some of that in the news. The convenient thing about cryptocurrencies is that they make exchanges across borders a little more convenient and less expensive. The time to make those transactions is reduced, and the fees involved are much smaller. Why else might you consider investing in BITW? Well, the fund is up 184% for the year. That is certainly far better than the S&P 500. What else should you know about this fund? Its structure is a Delaware statutory trust. The coins are held in 100% cold storage with a regulated insured custodian. Now, that doesn't mean that they're kept in a freezer or refrigerator. What it does mean is that they are kept on a secure computer that is not connected to the internet, meaning that it has an air gap, and it never has and never will be connected to the internet. And then that computer can be kept within a vault. So, what's my take on BITW? I think that it could be worth investing a small portion of a portfolio, 1% or less. I think that crypto assets will become more and more accepted as time goes on, and as larger financial companies agree to set up ways of making payments with cryptocurrency. I think that crypto assets are risky given the opportunities for for fraud or theft. I think that Bitwise is trying to help reduce that risk by, one, spreading it over multiple crypto assets, and two, assembling a team of financial experts who are well versed in not only crypto assets but in managing funds. I think it's kind of fun that one can get in on cryptocurrencies at a very relative small price and begin to learn about investing in cryptocurrencies. I think sometimes the best way that we learn is by actually diving in. Of course, we make mistakes along the way, and we learn from our mistakes, and we also learn from the mistakes of others. By diving in, I don't mean throwing in half of your net worth. Again, 1% or less on something like this, I think, is reasonable. Well, hopefully I've given you some information then about BITW, why it might be something for you to choose in your investment portfolio, how you would go about purchasing it. I've tried to give you what some of the risks are in crypto assets, namely being the volatility and lack of high-level regulation. Thus, the SEC has not yet allowed a cryptocurrency ETF. If this was useful information for you today, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. And again, we'd love to have you as a subscriber. Until the next time, enjoy your investing.